Today I'm going to show you more of Pete's site. This is his house of Green Dreams Ecological Landscaping. Is that it, Pete?
That's it. Green Dreams Ecological Landscaping Design Firm.
There's so much here. I could make 100 movies.
Yeah, once again, I'm Pete with Green Dreams. We're an ecological landscaping firm, a design build firm, so we're kind of pioneering this all over the state. This is our site, Sandhill Farm. We're almost 7 acres here on this site, and we've been here for just at 4 years. So most all the plantings y'all have seen are 3 years old or less. The oldest thing being in the ground are some of the bamboo varieties we have here. We've named the farm Sandhill Farm because we have one of the largest migratory populations of the sandhill crane in this area. So they say anywhere from 6 to 10 million gallons a day of water are actually leaving this area. We're highly dewatered. A lot of the natural lakes and waterways are actually dried up now. They're not even here anymore. So, you know, that's another one of our big reasons for trying to retain water. You know, not only are we in Florida, highly sandy soils, you know, we're in a dewatered area of Florida. So, you know, water retention is key for our site. We're standing out here in the northwest corner of the farm, and that north corner has really good sun, but it's also the coldest area of the farm. Just here at the end of the road, we have 600 bare acres of land. So that wind really picked up and came across that, you know, that big field coming in here. When we first moved into the property, this actually quarter-acre front field was a monoculture of pinto palms, or jelly palms they would call them. The prior homeowner had a green belt, a tax exemption for growing those palms here on the farm. When we first moved in, we had a real intention on an annual garden. Actually, if you go to our website, you can see that this annual garden actually has a really neat leaf shape in the front part of it, and the back half was designed to be fruit trees. You know, with being an ecological landscaping company, I'm very, very busy. We quickly evolved, I guess you could say, or moved away from that annual garden into a much more perennial garden direction. You know, we found that I don't have time for annual vegetables, and perennial vegetables to me are highly more nutritious. There's a lot more mineral content. They're much easier. You don't need to replant them every year. So I'm busy. I don't have time for that green slavery, you know, of that market gardening. I think there's a niche for it. I think there's definitely people out there who do it great. You know, we've got the Jim Kovalevsky who we saw in that other video yesterday. You know, somebody needs to be doing it, but it's not time for us. You know, we're very busy. So when I come home, I want to harvest fruit. I want to come out and get some perennial vegetables to mix into our dinner. And that's about it. I don't have time to, you know, be replanting these annual vegetables on a yearly basis. So here on the farm, this is not your typical farm. You know, we're not an annual vegetable farm. We don't have rows. Everything we do out here mimics nature. You know, so it's about bringing in the diversity, bringing in the plants that attract the beneficial insects, the predatory insects, native species. This plant we're standing next to here is called sweet almond, or aloysia. This is cold hardy to North Georgia. This plant flowers all year long, and it has the most amazing fragrance you've ever smelled. You know, some of my neighbors actually think that I spray Febreze in my yard because the smell is so strong and fragrant that it blows, you know, a few hundred yards across the street. This plant never stops flowering. It's constantly covered in native bees, honeybees, like I said, beneficial insects, wasps, predatory wasps. Probably one of our favorite plants on the farm for bringing in beneficial insects, other than the elderberry and some of the dune sunflower and things that we have planted along this area. So up here in this market garden, you'll see we have just a few beds of annual vegetables with things like kale and lettuces. And that's really what's left of our annual production here. We eat more of the perennial vegetables. So that whole center region of the field was sweet potatoes. Actually, the slips were just starting to come back about 2 weeks ago. We got a really late frost and all of that got cooked off. Sweet potatoes happen to be one of the most nutritious crops in the world because you can eat the leaves and you can eat the roots. So we grow 20 different heirloom varieties of sweet potato, everything from an orange potato, like a typical sweet potato, to a purple sweet potato, to a pink sweet potato, to a white sweet potato. So like I said, this used to be a very intense annual garden for the first year or two when we lived here, and we've evolved more to a perennial fruit tree setting in this annual area. This tree right here is called Moringa oleifera. This is the most terrestrial, or most nutritious terrestrial plant in the world. This powder on this tree goes from anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks a pound in health food stores. The tree is 26% protein by weight, 68 different antioxidants, 4 times the calcium of milk. I mean, grows like a weed. We just had a really hard frost here. You'll see there's a couple of tips on the top of the tree that actually caught a little bit of freeze burn, but it's incredibly cold hardy and root hardy. So if you're growing this more up in the northern Florida range, it will come back from its roots. It will recover, and it's done really well here at 27 degrees. So, you know, commercially they grow these trees 12 inches apart, 4 foot tall, and they harvest that new growth on a weekly basis, that fresh, tender new growth on those perennial vegetables. So they would just come through, and this tree would grow 12 inches a week, where you're just harvesting off that fresh growth on a regular basis. It can be put into smoothies. I prefer it powdered and capsulized. It's a little bit strong, has a little bit of a horseradish type taste. So it is a strong tasting tree, but all the way up to the seeds of this tree are useful. They've been used to rid malaria-ridden water and make them drinkable. They're actually used as like a flocculant. They also compress the seeds for the oil and use it as a rooting compound. So, moringa, I mean, this is a very easy to grow tree from seed. Everybody should be growing this. So a lot of the plants that we're growing out here on the farm are for biomass, so we have lots of nitrogen fixing ground covers, fixing nitrogen in the soil, feeding those plants. This is probably one of my favorite plants for biomass. This is known as Mexican sunflower, Bolivian sunflower, botanically Tithonia diversifolia. This plant is pound for pound equal to chicken manure and can grow 4 to 6 feet a month down here in the subtropics. So, I mean, we're talking pure biomass. This plant is also a dynamic accumulator that's known to bring up large amounts of phosphorus. So we'll chop and drop this on a monthly basis around our fruit trees. So we don't do a lot of maintenance out here, but we do come in and harvest, we do come in and chop and drop. I'll lay this down in relation with my clumping grasses, so I get that nitrogen carbon ratio, the native Fakahatchee grass, lemongrass, something that's high in carbon, high in silica, and lay that down on top of this Mexican sunflower when I chop and drop it. That's gonna kind of shield it from the sun, and it's gonna give you that carbon nitrogen ratio. The way we manage these, they don't tend to put out a lot of sunflowers. We keep them at a short height, but if you let them get in that 8-foot range, they will put off a beautiful sunflower that's also gonna bring in beneficial insects. So like I said here, we've really transitioned at annual vegetables and we have more of a perennial vegetable focus. This is probably one of our favorite perennial vegetables here on the farm. Grows like a weed, makes an unbelievable ground cover in the understory. This is called longevity spinach. And they don't call it that for no reason. I mean, this plant comes from Southeast Asia. It's a panacea there. It's touted to have 1 million different medicinal properties. So on these perennial vegetables, what I like to do is harvest this young, fresh, tender growth out of the center. So when I come out in the evening to harvest to cook, we just had this in our spaghetti sauce 2 nights ago. We like this as a cooked green. I'll harvest those young, tender tips out of the center of this and add these into any type of meal we might having. It tastes really good. Definitely a little bit on the strong side. Those are minerals, those are nutrients that you're tasting. This is very nutrient dense. This is 10 times better, 1,000 times better than kale in my opinion. This is the kind of stuff that wants to grow here, kind of stuff that doesn't need to be replanted. Super medicinal, super healthy. Grow it. So over here, once again, we have more of that Passiflora edulis that we talked about in the last video. This is a purple possum variety. And look at this thing, it's like a small tree. These vines do have a freak die off every few years, and that probably has something to do with the mass amount of fruit that this tree will, or this vine will put off. So we grow these up the oak trees. Like I said, they fall when they're ripe. Now this one is completely engulfed the oak tree right now. There's fruit all over it. It's growing on the power line and it's heading over to the barn. So raining fruit, these are the type of problems we like out here at Sand Hill Farm.
I'm trying to convince you guys, and I am trying to convince him. He's actually uploading his
first one just went up.
First video. He's gonna break apart different plants. I mean, how committed are you to this? You think you're gonna start uploading some videos?
I'm highly committed. I'll make it happen.
Okay, I'm trying to convince him. I'll link to that, maybe give him a little boost. Maybe that'll give him some excitement if a few hundred of you guys, or maybe 1,000 of you guys go over there, show Pete some love. Maybe that will motivate him to keep on doing it. He's got 1,000 varieties of plants. There's no way I could show this. I could spend a month here. So let's convince Pete to break down these plants, create some just simple one-edit videos, uploading it from his phone.
I'm ready to give you all some footage, don't worry.
So check that out. Okay, so we're gonna see his nursery.
So this is just some of the shade nursery area. We're kind of running out of space here on the farm, but we have things like edible leaf mulberry, Turk's cap, blue porterweed, pineapples, persimmon rootstock to eventually graft off of, jackfruits, bananas, gingers, kind of in this dappled light area. Also have some figs over there. And basically we're just kind of running out of room in our full sun area of the farm. In this space over here, we have a bunch of different varieties of figs. So I probably grow about 12 varieties of figs here. This is a Cadota. That's the Texas Blue Giant over here in this space. And figs are really tough to grow in Florida. We have a really bad root knot nematode problem. So by putting those on a large amount of organic matter and a little bit of water, that'll help to suppress those nematodes and give you a much better crop. In this space, we probably have about 12 varieties of bananas available. Like I said, we're growing about 50 varieties here on the farm, and there's probably 2,000 varieties of bananas. So I'm not even touching. Kind of stopped my focus on all these different varieties, and we're more focused on the best producers now. But we have Canandarin, we have Huamoa, we have the Thai, we have the Dwarf Namwa, we have the Rajapuri, we have the Apple, Dwarf Cavendish, Orinoco. There's many different varieties of bananas here in this area, and these are the ones that we grow up for installs. In this space, we have giant mulberries, wax myrtle, chaya, cardamom, shampoo ginger, which is still sleeping, A couple more figs. We have some different herbs in the space, some more pineapples, some bamboo ginger, baby miracle fruits, patomba. This is my probably favorite plant on the farm. These are Japodicabas, and this is another tree-borne fruit, and we can kind of show you a few of those fruits before we wrap this up over here. This is a white sapote. This is young hands. We probably have about 3 of these on the farm, and pretty excited we're getting a nice fruit set this year. White sapote is a delicious subtropical fruit that grows really well in this area. This is one of our favorite plants for bringing in beneficial insects. This is native firebush. So there's a lot of dwarf varieties that have been commercialized in the landscape industry here in Florida. And this plant is great for bringing hummingbirds and butterflies. It's also a great plant for if you get a cut or a sting on the farm, you can just crush up the leaves and wipe it on there and it'll take that burn right away. So they call it firebush for a reason. It will put out the fire. This is a Japodicaba. We recently picked these up from a farm and homestead and they were in some really bad shape. We've been feeding them compost tea, biochar, and watering them on a regular basis, and this one already started to fruit for us. A Japodicaba is like a really delicious grape that's gonna get dark purple when it's ready. It'll have kind of a softness to it, and you can spin it and take it right off the tree. The way it produces on the trunk like that is called coliferous production, and the other tree we have on the farm that does this is the jackfruit. So this is one of my favorite trees. It has a very beautiful looking trunk on it, similar to like what a crepe myrtle would look like in the landscape, but produces fruit. So this is a dooryard tree for Florida, takes down into the 20s, grows here with ease.
You know what, guys? I'm trying to wrap up this video.
I can't stop talking.
I don't need an 8-hour edit,
stop talking.
but you can't. So
check out the sensitive plant. Everybody needs one of these in the kids' garden. Watch when I touch this.
Oh yeah.
Look, the plant closes up on its own. It also makes a beautiful flower. All right, we're done. I'm shutting up.
Okay, so go show him some love on his YouTube channel so you guys can see more of this. I'm encouraging him to be the plant man or something.
We're gonna do a video a day just for Justin.
A video day? You're committing to that?
I'm gonna try. Yeah,
okay. No, come on. No, there's no tries. There's do or do not.
I'm a doer. I'll make it happen.
You don't know Yoda?
All right.
Okay.
I do. Awesome.
There it is, guys. Did it get it? We got it.
We're already live. We've got 1 view. Watch out. It's going viral. Y'all better watch out.
1 view in 10 minutes. You're
I'm telling you.
Watch out, buddy.
You can't keep up with this, Justin. You better be careful.
He's catching me, guys. It's so good. You did a good job.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Put the camera in the tree tripod.
Tree tripod. Just wait till it falls over. That's the best part, guys. There it goes.
Look, kept it in there. I love it. You just rolled with it. The camera fell over. He just rolled with it.
Saved by the tree.
Pound for pound equal to chicken manure, so.
Pound for pound equal to chicken manure. I got it. You guys got to see that plant.
Everybody needs to grow that.